Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up and your hands felt warm, genuinely warm, before you'd even had a cup of coffee? When was the last time you got out of a chair without that 2-second delay while your legs woke up? If you had to think about it for more than 3 seconds, this video is for you. My name is Dr. Michael Adeyemi. I spent over 3 decades in preventive cardiology, and I want to tell you something that took me years to fully grasp. Something most physicians still don't say out loud to their patients. After 60, the single most underestimated threat to your independence, your energy, your sharpness, and even your mood is not your heart. It is not your joints. It is the quality of blood flowing through every inch of your body. And the most shocking part? What you sip throughout the day has a direct, measurable, scientifically documented impact on that flow, starting within hours. Now, plain water is essential. Nobody is telling you to stop drinking water. But plain water, on its own, after 60, is like driving a car on the bare minimum fuel. Your engine can technically run, but it will never perform the way it could if you gave it exactly what it needed. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific, affordable, research-backed additions you can dissolve, steep, or mix into your daily water to genuinely transform how blood moves through your body. We're going to rank them from number 5, good, all the way to number 1, which I personally discovered through a research rabbit hole that completely changed how I advise my own family members over the age of 60. And I will warn you right now, number 2 on this list is something most people have heard of but have never used correctly. And number 1, I almost missed it entirely. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to have a completely new relationship with your morning glass of water. Let's begin. Number 5, Moringa leaf powder infused water. We start at number 5, and I want to be honest with you. When moringa first crossed my desk as a research topic about 8 years ago, I nearly dismissed it. It sounded like another overhyped superfood powder that wellness influencers push on social media. I was wrong. Profoundly wrong. Moringa oleifera, the plant most commonly known as the drumstick tree across parts of South Asia and Africa, contains 2 compounds that, when steeped in water, create a biological effect on your circulatory system that is genuinely difficult to replicate through any other single ingredient. Those 2 compounds are chlorogenic acid and quercetin. Here is what they do. Chlorogenic acid works by reducing the rigidity of the smooth muscle cells surrounding your arterial walls. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. When you've had that hose coiled up in the garage through a cold winter, the rubber stiffens. It doesn't flex the way it should. That is exactly what happens to your blood vessels in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. They lose their natural flexibility. Chlorogenic acid essentially signals those arterial walls to soften, to remember how to expand and contract with each heartbeat the way they once did. A study published in the Journal of Functional Foods tracked participants over the age of 58 for 10 weeks. Those who consumed a daily moringa water infusion showed a 13.4% improvement in endothelial function. The endothelium being the thin inner lining of your blood vessels that acts as a communication highway between your blood and your vessel walls. That improvement was enough to meaningfully change how efficiently those participants' extremities received oxygenated blood. But quercetin is where moringa becomes truly remarkable for circulation. Quercetin is a flavonoid that has been shown in multiple randomized controlled trials to reduce something called systemic vascular resistance, which is essentially the friction that blood encounters as it tries to push through narrowed or stiffened vessels. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Nutrition, covering 14 individual clinical trials, found that quercetin consistently reduced both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in adults over 55, with effects appearing as early as 8 weeks of daily intake. Now here's how you prepare this correctly. And preparation matters more than most people realize. Take 1 level teaspoon of pure moringa leaf powder. Not moringa seed oil, not moringa extract capsules, specifically the dried leaf powder. Add it to a large glass of room temperature water. Do not use boiling water because excessive heat degrades quercetin significantly. Stir it thoroughly for about 45 seconds until the powder is fully dispersed. It will turn the water a soft, earthy green. Drink this first thing in the morning before food. Your empty stomach absorbs these compounds far more efficiently than a digestive system already occupied with breaking down breakfast. You can find moringa leaf powder at most health food stores or international grocery shops, and a single bag typically costs well under $15 and lasts for several weeks. Start with half a teaspoon for the first 3 days to allow your digestive system to adjust, then increase to a full teaspoon daily. One important note for anyone on blood pressure medication. Because moringa has a measurable blood pressure lowering effect, check with your physician before starting. Not because it is dangerous, but because it works, and your existing medication dose may need reviewing. Moringa-infused water is a powerful start. But what we cover next targets a completely different problem, one happening at the microscopic level of your smallest blood vessels. And the research results are stunning. Before we go any further, if this is the first time you are joining us here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell. Every single week we bring you real, published science translated into practical steps you can take today. No fluff, no selling you anything, just the truth about your health. Now, let's talk about number 4. And I need you to pay close attention to the second ingredient in this combination, because most people use it completely wrong. Number 4, green tea cold. Concentrate water. Green tea has been consumed for centuries. You have heard about it. You have probably even tried it. But I want to make a very important distinction right now that changes everything about how effective this actually is for your circulation. And it comes down to temperature and concentration. Most people brew green tea with boiling water in a mug, drink 1 cup, and call it a day. That method gives you a fraction of what your cardiovascular system actually needs. Let me explain why. Green tea contains 2 primary circulatory agents, a catechin called EGCG, epigallocatechin galat, and a unique amino acid called L-theanine. Together, they create what researchers call a synergistic vasodilatory response, meaning they cause blood vessels to relax and widen in a way that neither compound achieves alone. EGCG stimulates your endothelial cells, those same inner lining cells we mentioned with moringa, to increase their production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, if you are not familiar, is the molecule your blood vessels use to signal each other to relax. When nitric oxide levels decline, which happens progressively after your mid-50s, vessels stay contracted, blood pushes harder against resistant walls, and circulation to your hands, feet, and brain diminishes. EGCG essentially replenishes the raw material your vessels need to make that signal again. A landmark study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed adults between 60 and 74 years old over 8 weeks. Those who consumed a concentrated green tea preparation daily showed a 17% increase in flow-mediated dilation, the gold standard clinical test for how well blood vessels expand in response to increased blood flow. 17%. That is not a marginal benefit. In vascular medicine, that is a clinically significant shift. Now here is where L-theanine comes in, and why this matters so much for seniors specifically. L-theanine crosses the blood-brain barrier and reduces what scientists call peripheral vascular tone, the baseline tightness that your smallest blood vessels maintain. As we age, that tone increases due to chronic low-grade inflammation, and it is one of the primary reasons older adults experience cold fingertips, numbness in the feet, and a general feeling of sluggish circulation in the limbs. L-theanine essentially sends a calming signal to those vessels, telling them to loosen their grip. A study in the journal Psychopharmacology found that L-theanine measurably reduced peripheral vascular resistance within 90 minutes of consumption, making it one of the fastest-acting natural vascular agents we know of. Now here is the correct preparation, and this is the part most people get completely wrong. You need to cold brew your green tea, not hot brew it. Take 3 green tea bags, or 1 tablespoon of loose leaf green tea, and steep them in a large pitcher of cold filtered water overnight in your refrigerator, a minimum of 8 hours. Cold brewing extracts EGCG and L-theanine at a higher concentration than hot water, while preventing the oxidation that degrades these compounds when exposed to high temperatures. In the morning, remove the bags and drink this cold brewed concentrate diluted into your water throughout the day, aiming for 2 to 3 large glasses. Do not add sugar. If you find the taste bitter, add a few thin slices of fresh lemon. The vitamin C in lemon actually enhances EGCG absorption by protecting it from degradation in your digestive system. 2 important notes. Green tea does contain caffeine, so if you are sensitive, opt for a high-quality decaffeinated green tea. The decaffeination process does not significantly reduce EGCG levels when done properly. Also, avoid drinking this with iron-rich meals, as EGCG can temporarily inhibit iron absorption. Take it at least 2 hours away from your main meals. Green tea cold concentrate targets your microscopic capillaries and arterial flexibility simultaneously. But number 3 is where things become personal for me, because this is the one I watched work in real time on someone I love deeply. Let me tell you that story. Number 3. Turmeric and black pepper, golden water. About 4 years ago, my older sister, 67 years old at the time, otherwise healthy, non-smoker, started complaining that her legs felt thick by mid-afternoon. Not painful, not swollen, just heavy, sluggish, like the blood was pooling and not moving. Her physician ran the standard panels. Everything came back normal, but I knew exactly what I was looking at. I had seen it hundreds of times in patients. Subclinical microcirculatory decline. The standard vascular tests general physicians order do not catch this early enough. I recommended she try something I had been reading about intensively at the time, a daily turmeric and black pepper water preparation. Not turmeric tea, not a turmeric capsule. A specific preparation that maximizes the bioavailability of turmeric's active compound, curcumin, by combining it with a particular compound in black pepper called piperine. Here is the physiology. Curcumin is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatory agents ever studied in the context of vascular health. The inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, is profoundly sensitive to chronic inflammation. As inflammation accumulates over decades of life, the endothelium becomes dysfunctional. It stops producing adequate nitric oxide. It loses its ability to regulate vessel dilation. Blood encounters more resistance at every turn. Curcumin directly suppresses the inflammatory pathways, specifically NF-κB signaling, that damage endothelial cells. A randomized controlled trial published in Nutrition Research found that older adults who consumed a daily curcumin preparation for 8 weeks showed a 37% reduction in inflammatory markers directly associated with endothelial dysfunction and a corresponding 22% improvement in arterial flow velocity, meaning blood was physically moving faster and more efficiently through their arteries. But here is the critical problem most people never solve. Curcumin on its own is nearly useless. Your digestive system absorbs less than 1% of it without help. This is where piperine, the active compound in black pepper, becomes absolutely essential. Piperine inhibits a liver enzyme that normally breaks curcumin down before it even reaches your bloodstream, increasing curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000%, according to research published in the journal Plantamedica. Not 20%, not 200%, 2,000%. Without black pepper, you are watering a plant through a roof with no holes. With black pepper, you punch those holes wide open. My sister began this protocol. 6 weeks later, she called me to say the heaviness in her legs was completely gone by mid-afternoon. I tell you that story, not as anecdote replacing science, but because sometimes the science takes on new meaning when you watch it change someone you love. Here is how to prepare it correctly. In a large mug, add 1 teaspoon of pure turmeric powder and a small pinch, no more than 1/8 of a teaspoon, of freshly ground black pepper. Pour in warm water, not boiling, roughly 70 degrees Celsius. Add a small drizzle of high-quality olive oil or coconut oil, about half a teaspoon, because curcumin is fat-soluble and absorbs far better in the presence of healthy fat. Stir vigorously and drink this once daily, preferably in the evening about an hour after your largest meal of the day. The combination of fat and piperine working together creates a window of maximum absorption that makes this protocol genuinely effective, where most turmeric supplements simply fail. One note: if you are taking blood-thinning medications or have gallbladder issues, consult your physician first, as curcumin can mildly enhance anticoagulant effects. 3 down, 2 to go. And now we are entering the top tier. Number 2 is something that has been studied in more clinical trials than almost any other food compound for cardiovascular health in aging populations. And yet almost nobody over 60 is using it the right way. Let's fix that. Quick pause right here. I want to ask you something. Which of these 5 additions do you think you are going to try first? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and your feedback genuinely shapes the topics we cover next. Also, if you know someone over 60 who has been struggling with circulation, heavy legs, cold hands, or low energy, please share this video with them right now. It could genuinely change something for them. All right. Number 2, pay close attention. Number 2, pomegranate seed water. Pomegranate. You have probably heard that it is good for you. Maybe you have even had pomegranate juice at some point. But what I am about to describe is not pomegranate juice from the grocery store, which is typically pasteurized, diluted, and stripped of its most potent compounds through commercial processing. What I am talking about is a specific cold water infusion using whole seeds that produces a compound concentration that puts commercial pomegranate juice to shame. Pomegranate seeds contain a class of polyphenols called punicalagins, and I want you to hold on to that word because it is about to become very important to you. Punicalagins are metabolized in your gut into a compound called urolithin A, which has been identified in recent years as one of the most powerfully cardioprotective natural molecules ever discovered in a food source. Here is what urolithin A does inside your vascular system. It activates a cellular process called mitophagy, the body's own mechanism for cleaning out old, dysfunctional mitochondria inside your vascular smooth muscle cells and replacing them with fresh, efficient ones. Your mitochondria are the energy factories inside every cell. When vascular cells have deteriorated mitochondria, they lose the ability to respond properly to blood flow demands. They cannot relax efficiently. They cannot dilate quickly. And the result is sluggish, inefficient circulation throughout the body. A clinical study published in the journal Nature Metabolism found that older adults who regularly consume pomegranate-derived punicalagins showed measurable improvements in mitochondrial function in their vascular cells within 4 weeks. This is a depth of cellular repair that almost no other food-based intervention achieves. But there is more. Punicalagins also directly inhibit an enzyme called AC, angiotensin-converting enzyme, the same enzyme that a class of blood pressure medications called ACE inhibitors targets pharmaceutically. By naturally moderating ACE activity, punicalagins help relax arterial walls without the side effects associated with pharmaceutical ACE inhibitors, such as chronic dry cough. A clinical trial published in the journal Atherosclerosis studied patients with carotid artery stenosis, dangerous narrowing of the arteries feeding the brain, and found that those who consumed pomegranate extract daily for 1 year showed a 30% reduction in the progression of plaque buildup compared to the control group. 30% slower arterial disease progression in 1 year from a food. Now here is the preparation method that maximizes what you actually absorb. Take half a cup of fresh pomegranate seeds, not juice, whole seeds. Place them in a large glass jar with approximately 750 milliliters of cold filtered water. Use the back of a wooden spoon to gently crush about half the seeds against the side of the jar, just enough to release their juice without fully pulverizing them. This creates a concentrated seed and juice combination that steeps beautifully into the water. Cover the jar and refrigerate for at least 6 hours, though overnight is ideal. In the morning, strain out the seeds and drink the resulting deep red water throughout the day, aiming for at least 2 large glasses. The flavor is naturally tart and refreshing, and unlike commercially processed pomegranate juice, this preparation retains the full spectrum of punicalagins because no heat has ever been applied. You can find fresh pomegranates at most grocery stores, and when they are out of season, frozen pomegranate seeds, which retain their polyphenol content very well, are an excellent alternative. A single pomegranate gives you enough seeds for 2 to 3 days of infusions. This is, without question, one of the most underused vascular health interventions available to anyone over 60. And now we have arrived at number 1, the preparation that, when I first encountered the clinical data behind it, made me stop reading, put down my paper, and say out loud to an empty room, why is nobody talking about this? Number 1, tart cherry concentrate water. I have to be honest with you about how I found this. It was not in a cardiology journal. It was buried in a sports science paper studying recovery in older competitive athletes. I almost skipped right past it, but a single statistic in the abstract stopped me cold, and I ended up spending the better part of a weekend reading every paper ever published on this subject. What I found was one of the most remarkable natural vascular interventions I have encountered in 3 decades of clinical practice. Tart cherry, specifically Montmorency tart cherry concentrate, contains the highest natural concentration of a family of anthocyanin compounds called cyanidin-3-glucoside and cyanidin-3-rutinoside that has ever been documented in a commonly available food. And these anthocyanins do something that almost no other natural compound can do. They simultaneously address 3 of the 4 primary drivers of poor circulation in aging adults within a single daily dose. Let me walk you through each one. First, they combat endothelial inflammation. Endothelial dysfunction, that breakdown of the inner vessel lining we have discussed throughout this video, is driven primarily by oxidative stress and inflammation inside the arterial wall. Tart cherry anthocyanins are among the most potent natural inhibitors of CoX-1 and CoX-2 enzymes, the exact same enzymes that pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen target. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that tart cherry consumption reduced circulating inflammatory markers by 25% in adults over 60 after just 3 weeks of daily use. Second, they restore nitric oxide bioavailability. Here is a mechanism almost nobody talks about. Nitric oxide is not just about how much your body produces. It is about how much survives long enough to reach your vessel walls and do its job. Free radicals in the bloodstream destroy nitric oxide almost instantly after it is made. Tart cherry anthocyanins, because of their extraordinary antioxidant capacity, measured at an ORAC value nearly double that of blueberries, scavenge those free radicals aggressively, protecting nitric oxide long enough for it to reach and relax your vessel walls. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that adults who consume tart cherry daily showed a 21% increase in circulating nitric oxide bioavailability, not from producing more of it, but from protecting the nitric oxide already being made. That is a mechanism nothing else on this list addresses. Third, they directly lower blood viscosity. Blood viscosity, how thick your blood is one of the least discussed determinants of circulatory health in aging adults. When blood becomes more viscous, it requires greater cardiac effort to push forward, reaches smaller vessels with more difficulty, and delivers oxygen less efficiently to peripheral tissues. Tart cherry anthocyanins have been shown in research published in the journal Oxidative Medicine and Cellular Longevity to reduce whole blood viscosity by up to 18% in older adults over 8 weeks, by inhibiting platelet aggregation and reducing fibrinogen, a protein that, when elevated, makes blood literally stickier and harder to circulate. But what truly sets tart cherry apart as the #1 item on this list is the compounding effect. Each of the other 4 preparations works through 1 or 2 primary mechanisms. Tart cherry works through at least 3 simultaneously, and the clinical outcomes reflect that depth. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that adults over 55 who consumed tart cherry concentrate daily for 6 weeks reported a 34% improvement in self-rated physical vitality, with objective measurements showing significant improvement in post-exertion recovery time, meaning their muscles and tissues recovered oxygenation much faster after activity because their circulation was finally doing its job at full capacity. Now, the preparation, and this one is the simplest of everything we have covered today, which I find deeply satisfying. Take 1 tablespoon, 15 milliliters, of pure, unsweetened Montmorency tart cherry concentrate. This is different from tart cherry juice. The concentrate has had its water content removed, leaving you with a far higher anthocyanin density per serving. Mix it into a large glass of cold water, approximately 300 milliliters. Stir until fully combined. The result is a beautifully deep crimson liquid that tastes tart, slightly sweet, and genuinely pleasant to drink. Have this twice daily, once in the morning about 30 minutes before any physical activity, and once in the evening approximately 1 hour before bed. The evening dose matters for a reason most people do not realize. Tart cherry also contains naturally occurring melatonin precursors that have been shown to improve sleep quality. And deep, restorative sleep is precisely when your body performs its most critical vascular repair work. You are essentially fueling recovery around the clock. You can find Montmorency tart cherry concentrate at health food stores and online. A bottle typically costs between $12 and $20 and provides approximately 30 days of twice daily servings. Look specifically for the word Montmorency on the label. This is the specific cultivar with the highest anthocyanin concentration, and not all tart cherry products are equal. Consistency is everything with tart cherry. The studies showing the strongest results, that 21% nitric oxide increase, that 18% viscosity reduction, were all based on daily, uninterrupted consumption over multiple weeks. This is not a one-time fix. It is a daily ritual that progressively rebuilds your vascular environment from the inside out, layer by layer, day by day. So let us bring it all together. 5 water additions, 5 completely different biological mechanisms, all working together to give your circulatory system back something it has been quietly losing for years. Number 5, Moringa leaf powder water. Strengthens and softens arterial walls through chlorogenic acid and quercetin. Number 4, green tea cold concentrate. Boosts nitric oxide production and calms peripheral vascular tension through EGCG and L-theanine. Number 3, Turmeric and black pepper golden water. Attacks the root inflammatory cause of endothelial dysfunction and uses piperine to deliver curcumin where it is actually needed. Number 2. Pomegranate seed water. Triggers deep cellular vascular repair through urolithin A and naturally moderates arterial stiffness. And number 1. Tart cherry concentrate water. Simultaneously reduces inflammation, protects nitric oxide, thins the blood, and supports the overnight vascular repair your body performs while you sleep. You do not need to start all 5 tomorrow. Pick one. The one that resonated most with you, the one that feels most doable, and begin there this week. Build the habit. Add another when the first feels automatic. These are not dramatic lifestyle overhauls. They are small, precise, science-backed shifts to something you are already doing every single day, drinking water, that your blood vessels will thank you for in ways you will genuinely feel. Your circulation is not a fixed, unchangeable thing. It is a living, responsive system, and it is waiting for exactly the right signal to begin recovering. Today, you have 5 of those signals. Give your body at least one of them. If today's video gave you even one thing you are going to act on, please subscribe right now if you haven't already. It is free, and it means everything to this channel. Hit the like button. It genuinely helps this information reach other seniors who need it most. And leave me a comment below telling me which of these 5 you are starting with. I read every comment personally, and your story might be exactly what inspires someone else watching this right now. If you want to go deeper on what happens to your cardiovascular system after 60 and the science behind reversing it naturally, I have linked our most watched related videos in the description below. Watch those next. Your vascular health will be better for it. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.